kind of gave us a few lines, and we, sniffed that up, and both of us sat out back and looked at each other and said, oh, wow, so this is how this is, It was like we had arrived.
In 2012, we were experiencing an unprecedented and unexpected spike in overdose deaths. In 2010, 2011, we had 2022. And all of a sudden, in 2012, it jumped to 60. Oxycontin, Percodan. Suddenly, we were dealing with an epidemic. Everybody clamped down on the distribution, doctor's perspective from the pharmacies. Somewhere along the line, many of these people changed to heroin. We brought together the other law enforcement agencies within the county, along with the county coroner, with the express purpose of talking about this epidemic that we were experiencing and what could be done about it. And we had done some research as to what other communities in the country were doing, and we ran into a program that Quincy, Massachusetts was running, where they had distributed nasal Narcan to each of their officers out in the streets. We said we were ready to start doing it the next day. That wasn't permissible because the state law didn't allow for police officers as first responders to carry Narcan. I wrote a letter to Senator Gail Manning and asked for her help.
They're the ones that came to me and said, we want to have a pilot program where first responders can carry Narcan. And they'd been trying to do it through the Ohio Pharmaceutical Board and not having much success because they said they had to change the law. So I was more than happy to sponsor Senate Bill 57 that passed unanimously in the House and the Senate. And I remember getting that first phone call from Chief Rivera and said, we saved our first one. And it kind of gives you goosebumps, when you hear that and realize that you've made a difference. And I know, whenever I make these decisions, I think of my own family. And you sit there and think, if that was my kid, I want somebody to do something to save him.
My name is Brent Payne, patrolman with the City of Lorain Police Department. I love working for the City of Lorain. It used to be that crack cocaine was the big thing that you would see. Now it's heroin. On many of these calls we've responded to, they're blue, they're not breathing, or it's shallow breathing, but this Narcan brings them right back. Well, I can just flip open my pocket, reach in, grab everything, and a lot of the times if I know it's a heroin overdose, I'm already popping off the caps and inserting it before I get into the house. Not about the victim. It's about the family members, their children, the mothers, the fathers that are watching their son, their daughter, lay there on the floor and die.
And it shows you a little bit of everybody in there, siloed. You know who that is. I've had it administered 3 times. Within the past year, within the past 12 months, 2 times it was police, once it was the paramedics. Without it, I can say probably I would not be here sitting here giving you this interview. When the overdose happens, you just simply feel like you're going to sleep or an instant blackout. But there's no return eventually if you're gone for too long. When the Narcan was administered, I immediately woke straight up, kind of in a daze, what's going on? To me, I didn't know that I had possibly taken a lethal dose, or had mixed a lethal combination. I was just getting high. And I went through a lot of loss, because of this drug. I'm sober now, no longer have to live that life. Now, moving forward, as I mentioned, I can have the ability to help, people my age or younger, or even older. But just people that are afflicted with this disease that have had enough and are looking for recovery. What these politicians and these police officers are providing is a second chance. Substance abuse, heroin in particular, does not have to be a way of life.
Hopefully what we want is for them to realize that they almost died and come to grips that they need to address their addiction.
In the meantime, in order to save all these young people that are dying, I think having that first responder being able to carry this is great.